Maybe you want to taste, I don't know, the sunset, the sunrise, Moscow on fire, I don't know. Soviets didn't like that. This is the best time ever. I hope you never see this in Ukraine. I'm already enjoying it. And it's not just because of the shirtless dancers.
People should come to Ukraine.
And that's how you can get an authentic impression of Lviv.
Wait, let's take a step back. Hi, I'm Masha, a Kyiv native turned world traveler. I moved to the United States in 2015, seeking new experiences, from Miami's shores to New York's skyscrapers, and eventually to Australia's outback. But when Russia unleashed its full-scale war against Ukraine, life as we knew it stopped. So I decided to come back home and do what I can to help. Is Russia finally calling its war against Ukraine war?
I'm in Kramatorsk, one of the last stops before the front line. Right on time. They have launched missiles.
Even though the war continues and travel here can be dangerous, the world needs to know that Ukraine is more than war headlines. It's the largest country in Europe, with rich history, vibrant culture, stunning nature, and resilient people. So I'm going on a journey to rediscover it. And here, you can dare to Ukraine with me.
If you enjoy traveling by train, then Ukraine is your perfect destination. Thanks to the Russian invasion, traveling by plane is out of the question, but trains are hands down the best way to experience the country. And I'm so excited because today I'm traveling by train to Lviv.
Imagine this, the gentle rocking of the train, sipping freshly brewed tea in those old glass holders, soaking up the beautiful Ukrainian countryside through the window. And if you're lucky, you might make a new friend with a fellow traveler, or at least hear some cool stories.
And we have arrived in Lviv. I cannot wait what this city has in store for us.
Lviv is the largest city in western Ukraine. Since its foundation by King Daniel of Galicia in the 13th century, Lviv has been influenced by many civilizations. It thrived under the Kingdom of Poland and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, served as a capital of a short-lived West Ukrainian People's Republic, and endured Soviet and Nazi occupations. Since 2022, Lviv has become a refuge for thousands of Ukrainians fleeing the Russian invasion. Today, as a part of independent Ukraine, Lviv is known for its magnificent architecture, lively streets, rich cultural heritage, and incredible food.
Welcome to the Rynok Square, the beating heart of Lviv. I've been to Lviv before, and this time around I still have some touristy things to see, like the Opera House, but I'm also planning to see the city from a perspective of a local. Lucky for me, I'm gonna see some amazing people who hopefully will be able to show me Lviv from the side you can only see when hanging out with locals. But let's not wait any longer, let's go explore the city and maybe get a coffee or something else on the way to our next location. Back in the day, Rynok Square was a place where merchants from all over the world came to sell their goods. Now it's more of a touristy place with cafes and shops, but if you're really lucky, you might catch one of the weekend markets where you can actually try the goods that farmers brought. So let's do that. А що у вас тут таке гарне?
Маківник, є булки з яблуком, булки з маком, булки з сиром і хліб, звичайний старолівський.
А коли це пеклося?
Сьогодні вночі.
This is the best time ever. Дякую. Sorry, it looked like I didn't like it. I really did. It was just very unexpected. It was really, like, there was just a lot of flavor happening. That is really good.
Rynok Square isn't just a spot for delicious food and charming souvenir shops. It's a living, breathing part of Lviv where history and modern life blend seamlessly, offering a glimpse into the city's soul. Renaissance, Baroque, and neoclassical architecture tell Lviv's centuries-long story as a major trade and cultural hub in Eastern Europe.
Isn't it beautiful? Right in the heart of Lviv Historical Center is the Lviv Opera House, one of Europe's most stunning opera houses. Just by looking at the gorgeous facade, you can tell it's got a long and fascinating history. But we're here not to just look at the facade. We're gonna go inside and check out one of the performances they have on right now. It is even more beautiful inside than it is outside. Actually, I don't know. It's equally as beautiful as it is beautiful outside. There's just so much stuff happening. I mean, the ceiling, the walls, the floor. Wow, the floor. Okay, let's not get stuck on the floor. Let's keep going. Wow. This is amazing. I just saw the ceiling. This is crazy. Wow. And it's just beautiful. The women are beautiful. I'm surprised they didn't like paint over it during Soviet times. I mean, this is very revealing. Soviets didn't like that. So not only we get to see this amazing performance, but we actually get a special treatment because we're about to go backstage and I'm gonna try and catch some of the performers and just ask them some questions and actually see behind this stage. So come on, let's go. The performance starts in 15 minutes, so we have to be pretty quick. Чи на часі мистецтво під час війни? Чи це треба залишити на часи, коли це все закінчиться?
Думаю, що мистецтво в часі війни є необхідне. Тому що я думаю, що це такий інструмент, яким можна впливати на весь світ. Тому що неможливо в такий тяжкий час, кровавий час сидіти і нічого не робити. Треба їхати, пропагувати. Більше того, розвивати українське мистецтво, показувати, які ми маємо чудові українські опери і кричати на весь світ, що у нас війна і ми подолаємо цього ворога тільки всі разом. Я вам мушу сказати, що я працюю, напевно, в одному із найкращих театрів світу, тому що в часі війни в нас ставляться такі прем'єри, які і в мирний час не у всіх театрах ставляться. Тому для мене це велика радість і велике задоволення працювати тут, в цьому театрі, і творити, і просто відчувати, знаєте, оцей зараз якесь таке... особливо, напевно, у нас всіх загострені відчуття, і тому наша публіка зараз також, вона дуже тепла, дуже трепетна. І, тобто вони цього потребують, і ми потребуємо, тому що театр без глядача – це не театр.
В принципі, що відбувається тут, коли лунає тривога, і наскільки це вас збиває з процесу?
Звичайно, що це тебе вибиває, коли ти налаштовуєшся на творчий процес, а тут сирена, і ми припиняємо виставу годину, чекаємо. Звичайно, що це, я скажу так, що воно, напевне, дратує, ти ще з більшою силою, з більшим бажанням виходиш потім на сцену і працюєш. Сирени заважають вночі, коли ніч зірвана. Звичайно, що тяжко співати, коли ти 3-4-5 годин не спав. Нічого доброго вони не приносять, але такі реально. Ми і так тут спокійно живемо. Хлопцям там важче, тому це ми подолаємо.
Let's go and try to see the stage. That is really cool. I mean, this show hasn't begun yet, and I'm already enjoying it. And it's not just because of the shirtless dancers. I mean, part of it is because of that, but it's just really cool to see, the preparation right before the show starts. And I'm incredibly excited to see this particular show because it's about Ivana Kupala celebration, and in my opinion, it's one of the most magical celebrations in Ukraine.
Dear guests, our event will be suspended in case of an air raid alert. Staff and spectators must go to the bomb shelter situated in the cemetery.
Шановні, третій дзвінок. Я прошу всіх бути готовими до початку вистави.
I'm watching When the Fern Blooms by Ukrainian composer Yevgen Stankovich. The performance immerses you in the ancient pagan traditions of Ivana Kupala, Ukraine's midsummer festival, and traces Ukrainian history from Cossacks to modern times. Though written in the mid-1970s, it was first performed on stage more than 40 years later. Like many other pieces of art, it was banned by Soviet authorities for its patriotic themes and cultivation of Ukrainian culture and history. It triumphantly returned to Lviv National Opera in 2017 and has since become a staple of their repertoire.
What you can hear now is an air raid siren, which we get really used to here in Ukraine. Even in Lviv, they happen quite often. I mean, it's nothing like in comparison to Kyiv or to other cities that are closer to the front line. It actually sounds like it's coming to an end. But we decided to do a challenge for you. I want you to guess how many times there was an air raid siren while we were in the city.
We were in Lviv for 3 days, so write your guesses in the comments and the first person to guess correctly will get the Kyiv Independent merch. I know it's not funny, but I think it's a good way to share a huge part of our reality here in Ukraine.
Don't worry, there are other ways to get our merch besides winning the challenge. You can get any of our amazing merch items, just like this one, at our recently launched eShop. And if you would like to support the show further and have a product or a business you would like us to promote, feel free to reach out to our commercial team via the email in the description below. With your support, we can continue exploring Ukraine together. That's all, let's get back to Lviv. To say that you've seen real Lviv without seeing real Lviv backyard is to lie. The same way it would be a lie to say that you've experienced authentic Lviv without trying authentic Lviv cuisine. Lviv cuisine is something really special because it's a melting pot of different cultures, starting from Ukrainian and Jewish and Galitska, finishing with Polish, Austrian, and even Greek. And there's no better place to try authentic Lviv food than a kitchen of true, authentic Lviv gospodynia, or hostess in English. And because I'm a really lucky girl, there's not one, but two amazing women who is gonna share their love for food with me, teach me something special, and just feed me. And I cannot wait any longer, so let's go.
This is Mariana Dushar, or Pani Stefa as she's known from her popular food blog. She is a Ukrainian anthropologist who specializes in the culinary heritage of the Halychina region. And Lyolia Landa, a pillar of Galician Jewish cuisine in Lviv. She is the owner and a chef of a popular restaurant in Jerusalem. Mariana and Lola are friends and passionate advocates for recognizing the potential of gastrotourism in Ukraine. I'm so grateful to you for inviting me, all of us. What are we going to do today?
We're making Lviv-style palianytsia. When the war started, there was this gastronomic semi-joke on how to recognize other Ukrainians by asking them to pronounce palianytsia. So today, we're making this code word, but in the Lviv way.
Робимо код, але на львівський спосіб.
And how is the Lviv palianytsia different from the regular kind?
Зазвичай, коли говорять паляниця,
A Lviv woman makes it. Usually when people say palianytsia, they mean a nicely baked bread.
хліб такий, гарний, випечений.
That's the general Ukrainian palianytsia.
Це є паляниця така загальноукраїнська.
In Halachina and other neighboring regions, there are palianychki.
В регіонах є палянички.
They are essentially flatbreads.
Since Mariana is making palianytsia, we will have some wonderful spreads for them.
Підтримати взагалі цю тему.
We'll make vorshmak.
Приготуємо форшмак. І поговоримо.
We'll discuss that vorshmak isn't originally a Jewish dish, how it became one,
І розкажемо про те, яким чином
and why vorshmak is also made in Halachina.
форшмак теж готують.
That's great. I don't know anything about this, so I'm ready to learn.
Let's start with palianytsia because the dough needs to rest a bit.
Солі.
A bit of salt and a bit of baking soda because it will help our dough rise. We mix it with huslyanka.
Шуємо на гуслянці.
Huslyanka is a fermented sour milk drink from the Carpathians.
Родом вона з Карпат. Її
To make it, warm milk is poured into a vessel whose walls are coated with sour cream,
вливається в посудину,
allowing it to ferment.
сметаною. Так, і я на ній заквашу.
How long have you been cooking?
Mariana, Pani Stefa, has been running her blog for 16 years.
Пані Стефа,
I've been cooking professionally also 16 years. We started almost at the same time, but we've known each other not so long. But it feels like a long time.
But it really seems like you're a family.
Really?
Ну, скільки ви років?
How long have you been friends for?
9 to 10 years, somewhere around that.
Just what we do at Jerusalem and what Mariana does intersect a lot. Because I work with traditions, Mariana works with traditions. I research Jewish cuisine, Mariana, Ukrainian and Galician cuisines.
Мар'яна займається українською кухнею.
And at some point, we realized that there are many points of intersection.
Багато існує точок перетину.
Many dishes that cross from one family to another. If you visit someone's home, and you were already a guest in a real Lviv home,
В гості до
and if guests gathered and each brought a dish from their home,
львів'янок і зібралися би гості.
then you and I would see how, for example, Galician palianytsia combined with Jewish vorshmak,
Поєднується з єврейським форшмаком. Туди додається, що ми сьогодні і зробимо, туди додадуться якісь, може, грецькі.
and maybe a Greek sauce. What else could there be? Maybe someone could bring Polish żurek.
And this is something we would see several centuries back.
На львівському столі в нас був
On the Lviv table, we had wine from Crete, olive oil from Greece, everything you could imagine.
все, що завгодно. Тобто,
By the way, oysters and asparagus were also present on a table in a Galician home.
ще дехто вважає,
Some people think that Ukrainian cuisine is boring and simple.
сільська хуторянська це
This is all a consequence of occupation by the Soviet regime.
совєтським режимом. І
They convinced us of our inferiority.
в нашій меншовартості.
How is Galician cuisine different from Ukrainian cuisine specifically? I know it's a part of Ukrainian cuisine.
Це частина української
Well, of course it's a part of Ukrainian cuisine. And here's what's important to note. Is that Halachina was a bit luckier because we spent less time under the Soviets. We were under Austro-Hungarian occupation, which was more tolerant.
толерантною, скажімо так.
There was an opportunity to explore and engage in our own culture.
Do you think what is happening now, this terrible war, somehow made Ukrainians explore their roots more?
There is a trend for everything Ukrainian at the moment, and that's great. It's just unfortunate that it's under these circumstances. In the world, Ukraine is in a spotlight right now, and it seems to me that Ukrainian culture has been waiting for such a chance for a long time.
I want to show that Ukraine is not just news headlines and updates on what's been destroyed,
Про те, що скільки
how much of our land has been occupied, and other terrible things.
і жахливі речі.
I want to show how special Ukrainians are. I feel this very strongly in Lviv. We create.
Ми створюємо.
While the Russians destroy, we continue to create. We create communities, art. We create just because we can.
I think we create daily values as well.
Because of this war, I returned to Ukraine. I felt the need to be involved, to be a part of this community.
Being part of a community really helps. That's why I think you should get involved in this as well, and maybe roll out a couple of palianytsia and finally get to work.
Of course, of course.
Look, I've already started. At first, you do it a little with your hands and then with a rolling pin.
The first one is a practice one. The second one will be perfect.
Okay, I thought a lot about this topic while in Lviv. One of Russian propaganda narratives is that Ukraine is divided. Here we have Ukrainians.
And there are Poles.
Yeah, and then there are Poles or even Russians. But Lviv seems to be a wonderful example that... yes, have to talk and do this at the same time. Lviv is a great example of how different nationalities coexist here.
And it has been the case for centuries. You see, Lviv, despite being multicultural, it unites everyone. But in the meantime, Lviv also allows everyone to maintain their identity. So everyone who comes here stays true to themselves.
Today, we'll be making vorshmak from herring. So, vorshmak isn't actually originally a Jewish dish. It has Prussian origins. And the basic vorshmak, back then, was made primarily with meat with a bit of herring added. A strong alcohol was used, and it looked more like a casserole, actually. So how did vorshmak even become Jewish? Well, Jews lived for a long time on the Pale of Settlement. They mostly lived in shtetl, poor, lacking access to produce, and they used very simple, cheap, and long-lasting products. And what lasts longer than a salted herring in a barrel? The barrel was easy to just roll and take with them. Okay, I've already diced an onion, and I've cut a green sour apple. So the type of apple is really important because the sweetness of the apple can ruin the taste. So what have you got going on over here? Can you cut a little bit more?
Yes,
like this?
I can.
Sound good? This cutting board might be a little too small for us, but that's okay. I believe in you.
Thank you for believing in me.
I never felt more at home than I do now. And to be given trust to be part of the cooking process really means a lot because, I don't know, for me that means family. For me that means being part of the community and being accepted. And having some Jewish heritage myself and having no connection to it whatsoever because it was taken away from my family by Soviet Union as well, I feel a lot closer to my roots than I have ever felt before. I'm a bit nervous that I'm not going to like vorshmak because I've never tried it before, but I'm sure I'm going to like it because, I mean, how can you not like anything that's made in this kitchen by these wonderful women?
I'm nervous. Almost like on a date. Thank you.
Okay, a moment of truth.
I want to taste this on its own first, and then all together. It's incredible. Yeah, it's really tasty. I could never be a food blogger because I'm speechless.
Actually, that's a good idea. Food blogging without words.
Just sounds. Thank you so much for teaching me. I'm going to make vorshmak at home now.
We're so
Thank
glad
you.
you came to visit
Thank
us.
you. Thank you.
Come again. Next time, we'll make palianytsia or something else.
Really looking forward to your next visit.
Maybe I'll teach you how to make something Australian. If you aren't as lucky as me and was not invited to someone's home for a meal there are 3 things that you must try when visiting Lviv: coffee, chocolate, and beer. All of them are a huge part of life here, and I've really enjoyed them during my past visits, and advise you to do the same.
In my opinion, the best way to experience Lviv is just by wandering the city, because it's just so full of architecture and history and buildings that make you feel like you're in a movie scene. But also, there are little pockets of creativity and art everywhere. If you look hard enough, you can find just Easter eggs of the city that can tell you the history and what's happening now and what people are feeling with this full-scale war. It's street art.
I'm meeting with Andriy Bunyak, who will take me on a little street art tour. Andriy is an artist and a street art explorer who knows the stories behind just about every mural in Lviv.
So, the first wall here is with art by Lviv. He's a very famous French graffiti artist. In fact, he invented the stencil style before Banksy and worked in this style for a long time. This piece is interesting because it's actually the first example of stencil art in Ukraine, made by the artist himself. Lviv used to sign his works with rats, and originally, there was a rat painted here.
What happened to the rat?
Galician wall refinement. Someone plastered over it, painted over it a bit, and that's it. It's good at least that the main part remained. The cool thing is that Lviv, who marked his works with rats, I think, had a significant influence on the famous Banksy, who often used the rat as a symbol of city dwellers.
How do you think Lviv and street art in Lviv have changed since the full-scale invasion?
Lviv has definitely changed. For one, there are fewer tourists.
And more Ukrainians.
Yes, more Ukrainians. And more Russian being spoken. As for street art, it's now less random and less focused on aesthetics. It became more memorial in nature. The government funds that could have supported these projects are no longer available. Nowadays, if street art is created, it's typically crowdfunded, often organized by the artists themselves. But the art scene is still evolving, with rapid growth in galleries and museums. I like that even during the war, culture isn't being forgotten. We've now come to our second location. This wall by Christian Gemy, a French artist. At the very beginning of the full-scale invasion, he created an identical piece to this one, in France, in the 13th district, the one often featured in Luc Besson's films as one of the most underground districts. There's an identical mural there. Obviously, it's slightly different in execution, but the concept is exactly the same. He came to Ukraine and created many murals in yellow and blue, in his distinctive style of lines and shadows. There's great symbolism in having this mural here and in France, and that this artist came to Ukraine to support us, doing everything on a charitable basis with his own funds. It really helps to show what's happening here to the world. I'm glad this is here. It's a pity the wall is a bit worn now.
I think it adds some charm.
Another example of what I think is a really cool mural. This mural isn't memorial. It isn't dedicated to some guy or focused on national patriotic education with cheap traditional motifs. For me, it's just a great example of how murals can be integrated into the city without trying to load them with meaning. It serves a purely aesthetic function, catching the eye and being pleasant to look at, unlike Soviet panel buildings or something like that.
Makes you want to just stay and stare at it. Do you consider yourself an artist?
No.
Thought so. Even with murals you've done in Lviv?
Yeah, I guess. A lot of my activities are connected to art. But there are things that, when you're an amateur, trying things out, experimenting, I believe that the status of an artist or a place in this group should be earned by achieving something big. When you've created something groundbreaking, made things that will have cultural value, not just now, but in the future. This is one of my walls in Lviv. One of the few that still seems pretty cool to me after all these years. This wall was created before the full-scale invasion in collaboration with a project from Lviv Oblenergo. They wanted for the walls to be free of graffiti and drug ads, so they invited me as an artist to decorate their substations. This particular wall features a portrait of a young girl with a message about being yourself.
Thanks for showing me. It really resonates with me. And what are you showing me here?
This is the final stop of our tour. This is our little shop, which is based on graphic design. It's kind of a child of mine that came out of murals and turned into this small business.
Let's go. Can you show me your most popular design?
I'll show you if we still have it. This is the most popular design.
Makes sense why. It has a lot of meaning and something people really want to see.
The design with Taras Shevchenko and Lesya Ukrainka in front of Moscow in flames is people's favorite. Plus, it's aesthetically well done. People should come to Ukraine, bring money here, contribute to our economy. And this will definitely all pay off when we win.
Дякую тобі дуже.
Thank you so much, and not for the show, I'm really grateful to you for a wonderful day, for showing me a different side of Lviv. I'd love to stay longer, but I gotta run, still have lots to see.
Багато справ. Тобі дякую.
Have a great day, thank you.
It's really hard to live here without taking all the designs and all the t-shirts and all the stickers, because a lot of it really calls you, because it's Ukrainian heritage with a strong messaging, especially with this war. I don't know, you just really want to see Moscow on fire. So if you want to see Moscow on fire, at least in a t-shirt, definitely come here. When visiting a new city, there are so many things you can do. Try out local cuisine, go to parks, wander streets, or come to a cemetery. I mean, visiting a cemetery might not be very high up on your list of activities when experiencing a new city, but here in Lviv, it's an absolute must.
This is Lychakiv Cemetery, one of the largest and oldest cemeteries in Europe, founded in 1786. Spanning 40 hectares, it's the final resting place for approximately 400,000 people.
From its early days, Lychakiv has been the burial site for the richest and most famous figures in art, culture, politics, and science. Many renowned Ukrainian, Poles, Germans, Armenians, Americans, French, and others have found their eternal rest here.
Some tombstones are older than the cemetery itself, moved here from the older city cemeteries. The oldest gravestone dates back to 1675. Over the years, Lychakiv Cemetery has evolved into a unique museum of gravestone architecture, as well as valuable monument of garden and park art.
You know, some people might imagine that visiting a cemetery is a creepy experience or a spooky one. But for me, it's incredibly peaceful here. I mean, first of all, it's really quiet. You can just hear the birds singing. There's almost no people. You can really spend a lot of time wandering and just looking and thinking how many people ended up here. This is a final resting place of one of the greatest Ukrainian people, a poet, writer, and a political activist who truly made a difference, Ivan Franko. He was one of the first Ukrainians to be nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1916. He nurtured ideas of prosperity and unity for the Ukrainian nation, contributing around 6,000 literary works to our cultural heritage. For his political views, Ivan Franko was arrested 3 times, and after the second one in 1880, he barely survived starvation. His resilience was astounding. He is often called a forever revolutionary after his poem of the same name. His vision and tireless work keep inspiring us today, reminding us that perseverance and passion is the key to it all. One of the most poignant aspects of Lychakiv Cemetery is how it bridges the past and present struggle for Ukrainian freedom. Walking through these grounds, you'll find graves of those who have fought for Ukraine's independence long ago, resting beside those who have only recently given their lives for the fight for Ukrainian freedom and independence. Right next to the Lychakiv Cemetery is the War Memorial, the Field of Mars. Here, Ukrainian heroes who have sacrificed their lives to defend us against Russia's invasion have found their final resting place. We caught a part of the funeral procession. And I hope you never see this in Ukraine, but it is always just leaves me speechless. I mean, all the cars pull over and people get on their knees to pay their respects for the fallen hero who has given their life to defend us against the Russian invasion. I don't know how long we can keep doing this. I don't know how long we can keep burying our young Ukrainians. I don't know how much suffering one nation can endure. But the amount the Ukrainians have endured already, it's too much. It's enough for a millennia.
I know that was heavy, but that's life in Ukraine for you. And while life here can be really challenging, it goes on. And you know what always makes me feel better? Some food. There is a huge variety of restaurants to choose from in Lviv, but I wanted a unique experience, so I've come to the Pretty High Kitchen.
As you can see, there's no menu on the table. This place is quite special. one of the chefs is supposed to come up to me and help me decide on what I'm gonna have. So I'm just gonna wait for him in a lot of excitement and anticipation.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm one of the kitchen team. I just come here to take your order. You can order everything you want, everything you like, but it depends on some things, some rules. I must know what you like and don't like, because we use a lot of spices, a lot of things.
Okay, out of the things that I don't like, I just don't like truffles. Don't have any allergies. Yeah, so just no truffles, which I think is gonna be not that hard. So for the main course, I have a challenge for you. You know, this war has been going for a long time, and I just would like to have a taste of victory. So you can surprise me. You don't have to tell me what it's gonna be. I wanna taste the victory.
Another cool thing about this place is the music. You get to choose a vinyl record that will play through the speakers, adding a personal touch to your personalized meal.
Don't you worry, I haven't been waiting for my food for hours. The weather just really changed all of a sudden, and it's raining, so it's got a lot darker. But now I'm having a bit of a romantic candlelit lunch.
Okay, I come back again.
Is this the victory?
Yep.
Okay, please tell me about it.
Okay, we take some products from the different parts of Ukraine, some catfish from the middle, some shrimp sauce bisque from the south, from shrimps from the Black Sea, some green peas, some chanterelles from our here from
Western part of Ukraine.
Forest, yeah, some green peas from whole Ukraine. And one berry is gummy berry. It's not from Ukraine, but my colleagues, Ivan, that have idea for this dish, tell me that he imagines this is blood, because every victory have some bitter aftertaste. Okay.
This is beautiful and sad and beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy. I will come back for feedback.
Thank you. The blood kind of threw me off, if I'm honest. I mean, obviously, the victory of Ukraine is not going to be bloodless because a lot of blood has already been spilled. But I really like the idea that they tied this dish by using products from different parts of Ukraine. The catfish is really good. This is getting better and better progressively. It was amazing, thank you. I mean, it was definitely exactly what you said, like those berries, they had the seeds in them, and that made my tongue a bit like tingle, and I can still feel it. So while it was delicious and absolutely beautiful combination of flavors, it definitely left that bitter aftertaste that you were talking about, which, I don't know, something to think about. Thank you so much. Everything was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be back. Thanks. I mean, there's not much more to say about the taste of Ukrainian victory, but you should definitely come up with your own ideas, what you want to try. Maybe you want to taste, I don't know, the sunset, the sunrise, Moscow on fire, I don't know. But I'm sure the guys can figure out how to make it really yummy, so you should definitely come and try it here. Unfortunately, my time in Lviv is coming to an end, but I feel so inspired. I mean, the opera that I got to see, the Arthur with Andrei, and the amazing food experiences I've had. I mean, you can never go wrong with chocolate, but that vorshmak and the Very High Kitchen was definitely the most unique dining experience I have ever had. I just feel so grateful to be able to experience and see Ukraine. But visiting that cemetery and just seeing how Russia's war has affected every part of life here, breaks my heart. And it's hard not to think about thousands of people who keep risking their lives for me just to be here, just to go to the restaurants and learn more about our culture and history. All of this could be so easily destroyed. But even in the midst of the war's darkness, Ukrainians continue to live, create, and work towards the end of this horrific war. And I am so glad that you're here to experience it with me. So, support Ukraine, make sure to follow the Kyiv Independent on YouTube to not miss any new upcoming episodes. Like us, write a comment what other cities you would like to visit with us, and just dare to explore Ukraine for yourself.